Okay, so we're recording. I will also share my screen here. So like Dave said, we'll do a couple of topics. They'll last 10 to 15 minutes each, and really encourage everybody to kind of speak up and get involved, and look forward to hearing what you all have to say. But the first topic is recent successes and failures. So do any of you have any examples or ideas of what's been done, both good and or badly in this area? And then we'll eventually get into, discussing other areas around Boise, around the nation, around, the world really. But the first one we'll keep kind of focused in on the past to current in this area and any successes and failures that you have to share.
I'll just jump in so it's just not crickets. I'll be the first. I think I see George on. I think I've met George before. My name is Jason Williams. I'm one of the owners of the building there off of Americana. Yeah, I think I've seen some cool stuff happen down there. I saw a cool development happen right on, I want to say 17th, which is a little bit out of the dotted line, but a new multifamily that just had brought some cool architectural appeal down there and new design, and really like the corrugated metal, and just kind of spiced it up down there. I don't recall if it's affordable housing or not, but I do know it was a nice smaller multifamily project right there on the corner of 17th and River, I believe, as well as the announcement of Interfaith possibly being purchased and having the opportunity to move to a bigger location to serve the community that they serve, which I think is exciting for them. So I don't know what you're looking for, but I just figured I'd jump out there and throw some topics to see if anybody else bites.
Yeah, no, that's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is George Iliff. Thanks, Jason.
George.
I would agree with Jason. Millers have built a 4-story garage mahal, I guess you call it, there on Americana as well. But honestly, there hasn't been much investment on the part of, which is what this is all about, obviously, on the part of the city, or CCDC rather, in the area, in terms of streetscape, lighting. And we are, as Jason noted, sort of subject to what happens with Corpus Christi and the Interfaith Sanctuary. And if that goes through, which it sounds like it will, then I think the area will change, and further that will that CCD's investment in lighting and streetscape and so forth in the area will be very, very justified. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I can't believe I missed the Taj Mahal garage directly next door to my building. I'm not going to complain. It kind of set a cool height standard for me, so I like it.
Anybody else have anything to share? And then the next topic might get a little more discussion going, but I think we're starting to look at redevelopment, both buildings, infrastructure, streetscape, whatever it may be, elsewhere in Boise, elsewhere in the country, elsewhere in the world, that you all have seen and feel could be applicable or something to keep in mind. for both your fellow stakeholders and then, us as a team for this kind of reinvestment study that we're doing to help kind of figure out what this little area of town needs. Is there anything that you all have to share on that front?
Hey, Chris, this is Captain Birch, the Boise Police Department. I'm not trying to be overly mute. Some of these topics I'm really not the best versed on. I do think that there's some, the way that everything is engineered down there, the dead end it's one-way streets, and then over there, the dead end of 17th is kind of problematic. And I don't know really how much you can really do to make the area a little more friendly to, I don't know, foot traffic. I know we got the green belt over there, but I don't know. I just don't know that how much really people coming over from the green belt over to downtown. I don't know if there's anything you could do to make that more friendly to people using their bikes and their pedestrian stuff from the green belt.
Yeah, that's great feedback. I think we can all kind of agree the connectivity in this little zone is very difficult. Like you said, 17th Street goes and dead ends. Americana goes by everything without really much connectivity into the area itself. And then the river is kind of separated by shoreline with only the street crossing at Shoreline and Americana for a safe crossing of shoreline.
Yeah, and like I said, there's, as far as what pulls people down into that area, it's kind of I don't know, if you don't have one of the businesses right there, or you don't live in one of those apartment complexes, condos, whatever it is being built right around it, it seems like it has kind of the same population that's there. There's not a lot that pulls people. I don't know if it's not as many eateries or what have you. It just seems like it's stagnant. The people who are in that area really are just local to that area.
Yeah, you would never kind of stumble over there for unless you had a purpose to go there. You're not going to go to that area to kind of walk around and discover a new restaurant or coffee shop or something. You have a reason to be there.
Right.
Well, and just on that same point, like I happened to just randomly have coffee yesterday with Mr. Mark Miller, and he has some property down there as well. And, we talked about like that world-class skate park that's down there. And we literally have this amazing like skate park that's ranked one of the top 10 in the US. And it is a driving force too, getting people down there for different reasons, and whether it's family and kids, but also we have some of the crime that is around that area as well, where right there at the skate park, sometimes you've got food banks set up at the same time going on while kids are trying to skate. So there's kind of both going on at the same time, where we're trying to, again, the more we can try to improve services for some of those people that are in need, at the same time of supporting some of the great things that we have down there as well.
There's certainly challenges in that. And I mean, I think we've made strides in the park as far as trying to clean it up. The city passed the new code that says you have to use those parks for their intended use, which means that people can't just go there and sleep right in the middle of the skate bowls. And I
think it's amazing, but with as much potential for crime you have down there, I would still drop my kids off down there to hang out and skate, because it is like, it's a very protected area inside that skate park. You guys have done a great job. I agree.
Yeah, but to your point is, I mean, there are things to pull people down there. But again, even the skating community, it's they put the parkour course in there. No, I do think the engineering or the business type, because honestly, it has a very industrial feel. I guess maybe that's a good way for me saying it. And even the businesses over on 17th Street, I mean, people go there to those businesses, but you know, it really does. It feels to me, it feels like you're in a commercial area, industrial type area. And it's not just, that's why I said previously, if there was something that could be done when it's renovated to try to pull in a different type of clientele, people that would not normally come in that area to come through, I think it would really turn the area around.
Well, and to kind of what Captain Birch is Captain Birch, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure I had your title right. Is what Captain Birch was speaking to, you know, as development starts to happen, I guess that's some of my question for the CCDC and this urban renewal district that we're in. You know, I've just used my own personal property as an example. If I decide to do some actual development down there and improvements, what additional resources do I have available with this urban renewal district to help improve in the area as well, while I'm trying to possibly develop my property into something that will bring more people down there?
Yeah, and I think we'll kind of start getting into some of those ideas and clarifying those as this study goes forward and we re-engage. But yeah, I mean, it's something to keep in mind for sure. Make sure you're maximizing your opportunity to, as you potentially improve your property. Any examples that anybody has of, you know, places they've been? I don't mean this in a, you know, negative way by any means, but this is kind of a slightly grittier area, you know, that feels different than downtown. It's that transitional zone. Has anybody seen a project or an area that's been successful in their travels or life experiences?
I think if you look at just what happened in that same shoreline improvement district, but over on the Lusk district area, I think they did a great job of turning gas, like mechanic shops, into student housing and access to the river, and encouraging access to the river and access to fun activities down there, and, you know, converting some of those really, again, more mechanic shops into some great restaurants and bars and kind of great vibe down there.
And I think too, there's already, I mean, there's a lot, there are, like you brought this, the park, I mean, you do have younger people, you do have families going down there. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you really make it more friendly to, I mean, I know they do the roadways where they have the protected areas for bicyclists. They literally have the concrete curb between the lane, and so it's actually a little bit extra wide. I would love to see it get a little more pop. You know, some of the trees and the landscaping in some areas of town, you go to where, like, you go into these really nice, where they like Bound or some of these others, their streetscape is just really nice. It's got some trees. I think when people see an area that looks really inviting, it becomes inviting. And I don't know that area really is inviting. It's not that it's ugly or anything. I'm just saying it just has a very, not to reiterate too much, it just feels like an industrial area. If I drove there, I wouldn't even think to be looking for anything that I'd want to go visit unless I was going to one of the businesses there.
Yeah, I think that's great. Great feedback. I think unless somebody else has anything to add on this topic, we'll go to the next one. So I think we're partly already talking about this, but what are the investment barriers? You know, infrastructure, connectivity, policy, economics. You know, do any of you feel there's definitely these barriers keeping progress of development, redevelopment happening in this area?
I mean, I'll just be blunt about it. I think people probably hesitated on doing a lot of investment in that area when we had so much issue down there with homeless population. I think that holds people back from wanting to invest a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. It's George Iliff. You know, you, Chris, don't have the background perhaps on what happened on Cooper Court. I don't know, it was 5 or 6 years ago, I guess now, where we just had this horrible situation right up next to the connector, which affected the whole area. Was the entrance to the area from River Street. You could clearly see it. And while the PD and city have done a really good job of policing and making sure that that doesn't happen again, I think that until there's some certainty that it won't, especially in that immediate area, I don't think you'll see much reinvestment. But you know, the whole area is really ripe for redevelopment at some point based on the certainty of having a safe and quality neighborhood. And again, I mean, we're right on the corner there of River and Americana, so I just keep going back to as soon as we can sort of get rid of the sanctuary and Corpus Christi, and I'm sorry to say it that way, but it has a very detrimental effect on the neighborhood. Please don't tell any of this to the folks on State Street, I guess, but as soon as we can make that change, then I think it will really help the area, and whatever investment CCDC makes will really be appreciated by passers through and property owners alike.
Well, again, I'll just probably disclose more information than I should. I don't really know how all this works, but I'm right in the middle of doing some planning on trying to do some multi-use commercial / workforce housing on my property to help invest and create more for that area down there. So, you know, that's my interest in being on this call, is just learning more about it, as well as we're in the stages of design right now for improving down there, just because there's opportunity for improvement, even working with the current situation that we're in.
And I'll tell you, part of the reason why the city put the mobile our substation down there, the old Lucky Dog, where we put we put it there the city did that for a reason.
Yeah.
And we put more of a presence down. That's where all my bike officers and my mental health coordinators are all going to be housed out of. You know, for some of the reasons that you folks are talking about. I mean, we wanted to put some stability, have more of a presence in that area, to try to offset some of the issues that we have had in the past.
And I think another thing that, I mean, we can all probably agree on is some sort of form of, you know, more affordable housing for people that are trying to live and work down in that downtown area, which is a struggle in all of Ada County right now, and now moving out into Canyon County. Trying to find anything that people can afford is a struggle for Idahoans these days.
It's too bad we can't get other cities to help out more than they have. Quite frankly, it tends to fall, I think, a lot with the city, Boise City.
I think we're kind of already into it, but I think, you know, we'll go to the roundtable discussion that has, you know, vision and goals. We've got about 8 minutes left. So, you know, you all have some stake in this area, whether it's patrolling it, you have ownership stake, you know, just, you've probably had thoughts of what this area could become. I know we've touched on a couple, you know, workforce housing, maybe affordable housing, better connectivity for this area to its surroundings, both the river and I would say across Americana. And, you know, of course, goes with the infrastructure improvements, undergrounding power, all of that. So if we could just kind of keep the conversation going on, visions that you have for this area, that'd be a great way to close this out.
Yeah, I'll just speak to what I already touched on, that, I can envision there's opportunity down there I know there's already additional housing in the works with some of the large development firms that have come in and purchased up large acreage down there. And again, from most of my understanding of those housing developments and mixed use developments, which I think will kind of, to Captain Birch's point, as we see some of this mixed use, I think we'll start to see, some more restaurants coming in down closer to the river, and, especially with those mixed use condominium projects. I think that's just coming no matter what. I think there is some opportunity down there to try to provide some workforce housing and some additional services to some of that community that no matter what, it's always going to be down there, that underserved community. And it's always going to be part of that area, I believe. I don't think it's ever going to go away. So I think, kind of embracing some of that a little bit to try to clean up as well as still provide services that can support that as well. Well, also, and my vision is, trying to create some workforce / affordable housing for, people that are working, the nurses, even Captain Birch's police officers that maybe want to live down there and ride their bike over to their station, but they right now have to go live out in Cuna because they can't maybe afford to live in downtown Boise. So I think there's opportunity for that type of workforce to be able to support that as well.
Yeah, and I forget I think it's at 5th and Myrtle. There's that one, they built it's a pretty large living, I don't know if apartments or condos, but the whole bottom floor is basically, and around it, they have like a sidewalk cafe around it. If you guys know the ones I'm talking about, they actually have like a coffee house or a restaurant. They have the outside, kind of a congregation area of people. It's kind of, I think it would attract a younger crowd, somebody who wants to can't necessarily afford to live over there, but this might be a little bit cheaper option. Cause like you said, I do agree the mix, some housing in there for everybody would be great. But I think that balance is what it really needs. It just doesn't feel balanced at all to me. Hitting back on what I was talking about before, but I think if it's done well, I think you can make it so that you could pull in some of these. I think you could find your group of people who would really vibe with that area. You just got to kind of think about it and make it appealing to them.
I guess one thing too, as we're talking about urban and long-term planning, I think we should embrace where that location is and the fact that it is downtown, and embrace the kind of the future that we're in, where we're living in this world of people maybe moving away from owning cars or doing a lot of, Uber or commuter type of, what things can that support when we're talking about just the community as a whole? Is there large areas for bike parking, or promoting those electric scooters, or, connecting really easily over to the water park, and, have that be, where our historical way of transportation is kind of going by the wayside right in front of our eyes. And what's it going to look like 20 years from now? Especially in that area, I think it's easier to focus on that down there versus, if you're focused on 5 Mile and Overland, it's not necessarily a very commuter friendly area to get to downtown Boise. But the fact that we're right in downtown Boise, how many people are going to be strictly using bicycles or walking or Uber to get around down there? I don't know what that looks like. That's for somebody a lot smarter than me.
That's what you have engineers for.
Yeah. I just want to see George go up with his and have his great workout facilities on the downstairs.
That might be a while.
All right, it's a long-term plan.
One thing that we haven't really discussed too much, and I'm curious for your all thoughts in the last couple of minutes, is the greenbelt in this immediate area, you know, it's kind of very much I would say a through. There's the railroad bridge towards the edge of the connector. And then, you know, there's not many offshoots in this area, of course, because kind of what are you shooting off towards? You have the Fireman's Memorial down there, which is kind of a nice moment of repose. But any ideas for the Greenbelt area and connectivity to the river?
More of it.
More of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll give you the example is there's a lot of people that's going to be living there in apartments and condos. A lot of them, I'm sure, going to have pets. To your point, the Greenbelt through that area is just a through. It'd be nice to have a small little pocket park, something people can take their animals, their dogs. I mean, you got to be kind of careful because of the types of use that you might get out of the park. But I think if you did it smartly and it was a specific use park, that you can avoid it being used by wrongly. So I do think that there is a very good opportunity for a pocket park or a small park for a specific use, like if you wanted to make a dog park or a bike park or something that kind of feeds off the area. I think that would be a good idea.
Great.
I think it'd also be good to just kind of embrace what's already down there. If we've got a skate park down there, you've got, again, a pretty world-class Frisbee golf park not too far away. Like what other things could be collaborative with those that brings, you know, I don't know if it's a bike park, you know what I mean? I have no idea, but just other type of collaborative things around that area.
Okay, great. Well, we've got 10 seconds before we're all going to get booted back into the main group. So I'll just take this to say thank you very much for your feedback. Very helpful, and we'll talk